Welcome all, it's Russ, and in this video I'm going to talk about sorting. Now, learning how to do a sort is a really important computer science skill, and we'll talk about that a little bit in this class, most likely. It's not actually required material, but we often touch on it a little bit. In 345, we'll actually go in depth about how you perform a sort. But one of the cool things about Python is it will provide sorting for you built into the language. And you can do sorting over any sort of simple collection. So the most common one you would do is you do sorting over a list, but you could do a sort over a tuple if you wanted. Theoretically, you could sort a string, in which case you're sorting the individual characters. That would be a strange program, but it's possible. And I believe, actually let me go double check before I say this. Yeah, I just double checked and I was right. You can even do a sort over a dictionary. But just like a for loop over a dictionary iterates over the keys, what sorting of a dictionary does is it extracts all the keys out of the dictionary and sorts them. All right, how are you going to do this? There are a couple of ways to get this done. I'm only going to show you one because in my experience, this is what I use about 95% of the time, and I want to keep this simple for you. All right, so we've got some sort of a variable here. Let's put in some values. -1, 17, 0, -100, 1024. Now I want to sort that. What I can do is I can call the sorted function. Y equals sorted of x. Now what sorted does is that it always returns a list, no matter what. It doesn't care what the input data was. If the input data was a tuple, it still returns a list. If the input data was a string, it'll return a list. If the input data was the dictionary, then it will return a list of keys. But it will return them in sorted order. And so when we get this, what we know is that y is -100, -1, 0, 17, 10, 24. And you say, okay, well, we can sort integers. That's mildly interesting. We could sort strings. Can we sort other things? Well, you can sort a lot of things. You can sort any things where the elements can be compared with the less than operator. So you can sort something that's made up entirely of strings. You can sort something that's made up entirely of integers. You cannot sort something that's got strings and integers mixed together because there's no way to do a less than comparing a string and an integer. But here's something funny you can do. Could you sort things that are themselves sortable or comparable at least? I'm going to show you something that's going to come up in another video really soon. Might even be the next video, I forget. Yeah, it is. It's the next video. So I'll give you a little foretaste of it. What do you think we're doing when we do this? Now I've never shown you anything like this. Anything that has brackets inside brackets. But what do you think it is? Well, this looks a heck of a lot like an array. Python calls them lists. This looks like an array. And this looks like an array. Is that an array that contains other arrays? That's exactly what it is. When we draw the picture of this, now, the picture I'm about to draw is not remotely true to what's actually happening in memory, but I can't draw the true picture until we start talking about references, which is what we'll talk about right at the beginning of this semester, after the review. But I'm going to draw this picture, and I apologize that it's wrong. But let's imagine that it's like this. And I'm going to tell you right here, if you're taking my class, I'm going to show you how to do reference diagrams real soon. If you ever draw a picture like this, you're going to lose points. It's not a correct picture, but it's a close enough conceptual picture for now. This is an array that has two elements in it. Each of the elements is themselves an array. It's an array that holds other arrays. It's kind of like if you had a big cardboard box and you put smaller boxes inside of it. Is it possible to compare two arrays? Can you compare 4, 5, 6 less than, question mark, 1, 2, 3? Python says yes. And the way Python is going to do this comparison is it's going to do it the same way you would compare two strings. See, this feels very weird. It feels very strange. But in truth, you wouldn't have complained if I said that I had an array containing two strings, would you? But each of these is an array, basically. How do you compare foo and bar? You compare F to B. You say, oh, B is less than F, therefore bar should go in front of foo. Same comparison happens when you're comparing two arrays. We compare the 4 to the 1. We say, they're different. 1 comes before 4, so 1, 2, 3 is less than 4, 5, 6. So if we say that y equals sorted of x, what we get is a list containing two elements, the first of which is 1, 2, 3, and the second of which is 4, 5, 6. That's going to be useful in some of your early problems where you might want to sort things that have a little bit more complex data. If you just make sure that the thing you want that's most important to sort by is the first element in each array or tuple, this can work really well. All right, so what's the key thing that you need to know out of this? Call sorted on darn near any collection. And what it will result in is a list of elements that are sorted by the less than operator. All right, cool. So I hope that was useful. Hope it was intelligible. We'll talk about this more in detail later.